Everybody. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? What's going on, man? Your old pal Justin Robert Young here. We're back. We're back. We're back on our stream game. We were a little we didn't have a stream for the last few weeks. Or no, the last week. Because I was busy. Busy at the border, busy in South Carolina, but I'm back. And it looks like we're back for a little bit now. We were a little late getting going today because I just had a great conversation with Tom LoBianco, who is a national political reporter. The dude's been at it for a while. And he's going to be on the show Wednesday, but we got into talking because he was part of the absolute disaster that was The Messenger. So add to the list friends of our show that were let go from The Messenger: Tom LoBianco, Mark Caputo, Eric Geller. But now he's in the Substack game, and he had a bunch of questions about how this feral world of independent media really works. So yeah, friend in need, friend indeed. We got to talking, and now we're done. I don't know where to put my coffee. Where should I put my coffee? Right here. We'll put it right there. Oh, baby. So what do we want to talk about, huh? What do we want to talk about? We can talk about South Carolina. We can talk about Nikki Haley. We can talk about Super Tuesday. We can talk about the border. I was at the border. Whatever we want. With LoBianco, we were talking about the vice presidential race for Trump. And the man had a very, very surprising number one pick that he is hearing. The audio is out of sync. Oh, you want to know what? I think I might know what that is. Check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Check. How about now? I am talking with my mouth blown out. Oh, yeah. You want to know what? We can take that down. Check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Check. 1, 2, 3. Hey. How about that? Who am I now? How about this? We are synced. Good. Nice. Fun. Awesome. All right. Well, good to know that if you come right off the board, it is not synced. Nice. Was the border everything that I hoped? Well, I didn't really have a ton of hopes for the border. I had some assumptions, and some of my assumptions were proven right. There was a lot more context. I think that was the biggest thing. There was just a lot more context to it. And the biggest thing about McAllen and I said this in the episode, but like it's a huge trading town. You know, it is a middle class town because there's a lot of money and jobs in just the business of getting goods to and from the border. You know, Mexico is our largest trade partner. They had an Orange Theory. I took their Orange Theory class. I took the 7:30 Orange Theory class. But the 5 o'clock was totally sold out. The Orange Theory, there was a funny Orange Theory story. So the instructor was a very nice young lady whose name I forget, but she was telling me that she is Mexican American, but she is from Waco. So she grew up in a very white area where she was the only Mexican girl. She does not speak Spanish. And so now she is in McAllen, a border town, which is largely Mexican American. And all people want to do is go speak Spanish to her. And she's like, Lo siento. Sorry. JDS, yeah. We are, you know, in a world where Joe Biden is admitting that the border is a problem, then stories like the one that you have referenced, a University of Georgia nursing student murdered while on a jog by a person who was not only here from Venezuela illegally, but also, according to what I saw last night, had been arrested and released in New York City before he went to Athens. It'd be great if you did a interview with Peter Santello. He's not political, but he's done a various video series on the border. Yeah, you know, I am gonna have. I got to reach out to the border or the retired border chief that spoke, because there's a lot of like nitty gritty stuff that I want to deal with, and I do have a political news peg with Joe Biden looking to put forward executive actions on the border. Mahoy. Only part of Colombia I ever saw was Fort Jackson. Let me tell you about where I was at in Colombia. I want to tell you where I was at. Let me tell you where I was at. Aloft, Colombia. Harbison. The Harbison neighborhood. All right, I'll throw this up here for you guys. Because I don't know whether or not we'll be able to make sense of it now, but I do want you to realize something that I realized. That this area of the country might have, per capita, the most Asian restaurants I have ever seen in my entire life. All right. So this was where my hotel was, the Aloft, Columbia. Right next to it is the Flaming Grill buffet. You went up this way. Carolina Ale House was where I went a couple times. Red Sake Japanese. I swear to God, there's like 2 or 3 of them on this street. The Miyabi Japanese Steakhouse. I'm only doing this from memory. But I swear to God, it was like every block there was another another Asian steakhouse, because they were all hibachi too. It wasn't just sushi. It wasn't like Chinese. They were all hibachi restaurants. Did I count yard signs? No, I did not count yard signs. I just went to the Trump rally, and that was pretty much it. I was interested what people from a real city thought of Columbia. That little area, I loved. It was great. I found, all right, big jury stamp of approval. There is a place in that neighborhood, the Harbinger neighborhood, Harbingen neighborhood, called the Tobacco Merchant. All right. It's called the Tobacco Merchant. Great humidor and a cigar bar with a fucking great bar. It was like a dive bar and a cigar bar were the same place. Two of my favorite things on the planet. Peanut butter and chocolate, two great tastes that taste great together. Cannot recommend the Tobacco Merchant. Let me also say this. South Carolina, really into women's basketball. Really into women's basketball. They love their Lady Gamecocks. Not really more to say other than women's basketball in South Carolina is alive and well. Are you aging backwards? No, I think I'm gonna. I think that, the secret to looking good as you get older is looking 40 for 30 years. And I kind of feel like I'm going to do that. When is the DC live show? We got to figure that out. I want to do a DC live show around the Libertarian Convention. The Lady Cocks. The Lady Cocks are hot, man. All right. What else? What else do we want to go? Will we be taking calls? Yeah, I think we can probably take calls. We can take calls. Great stuff on the podcast recently. I'm glad you guys liked the on the road episodes. Very rare that we do two in the same week. But it was a busy week. And I'm looking forward to stepping up our game and getting back on our regular hustle and grind here. Is the convention in late May? Yeah, let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that. Do you want to just plan this live show right now? All right. Oops. Let's not do that. Yeah, May 23rd through 26th. There's talk that Nikki could win the DC primary. Yeah. That might be the only one she wins. My wife heard the rally noise on your last podcast. She thought I was listening to old Nazi footage. Am I going to continue to be on the road? This one is basically over until the convention. Yeah, I don't know how much more I'm going to go on the road. Unless there's something that's really, really interesting. I think there's not much more than I need to learn. I'm glad I saw a big Trump rally. I'm glad I got an updated idea of what that looks like in 2024. But other than that, at that point, I've seen everything. I do need to see a Biden event. Somebody sent me an angry email saying that I sounded too excited at the Trump rally and that I need to see a Biden rally and that I didn't point out every time that Donald Trump stumbled and fumbled during his speech. I thought his speech was pretty crisp. Then again, I did go to the lying dog face pony soldier Biden event and I didn't even realize he said it. So maybe I'm not the best. Maybe I'm focusing on different things. Should I go to the courthouse for a Trump case? Maybe. Maybe. Trump's IVF take is dangerous for Democrats. The IVF thing in general, I do think that takes that specific issue off the table for Democrats specifically, but it is not in any way going to eliminate the liability that Republicans have on Dobbs. I think IVF was specifically dangerous for Republicans. I think it was more that the Trump campaign swerved away from a gigantic accident that was sitting in front of them. The Biden administration laid out a trap and the Trump administration walked over it, but it was not a particularly sophisticated trap. The Democrats have won on Dobbs because the Republicans are the dog that caught the car. They broke it, and now they have to own it. And the Republicans have not figured out a way that they can own a post-Roe world. And so the Democrats rightly will continue to punish them until they do. Spin Dash, did you see that Taylor Lorenz and Libs of TikTok talk together so we can confirm that they're not the same person? Is it a coincidence that OpenAI introduces Sora and then less than a week later, Taylor Lorenz and Chaya Raichek have a conversation together? That's up to you to decide. That's up to you to decide whether or not that's just a coincidence. That's just a coincidence that AI video is getting better than ever. And one of the women didn't take a mask off the entire time. Total coincidence. I'm just saying, look at the shadows. That video is my moon landing. I got to die on this hill. I'm just saying, the shadows are weird. Yeah, exactly. I saw Lindsay Lohan talk to herself. Oh, hey, I got another documentary for you. It's Michael Keaton talking to himself in Multiplicity. Huh? Come on, guys. Smarten up. Why did she wear the mask? Well, Taylor Lorenz is she takes COVID very seriously. Very, very, very seriously. She is very much on the side that she wants to avoid COVID. I don't know if I can get through the entire video. I got through like the first 20 minutes. It was Frost Nixon for fucking morons. Uh which is the radio edit. I think when I sent the link to Kevin Ryan, I used the term that Shane Gillis used on Saturday Night Live. They said Commander the dog is being taken to an undisclosed location. Yeah, no, he's gonna go to a park upstate. He's gonna have so much room to run around, so many people to bite. Yeah, Chaya Rychek did wear a T-shirt of Taylor Lorenz crying. It's just, I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Did I really need for them to have more interactions? Is that what the world needed? We needed them to talk to each other more? Any chance that Nikki ends up in either the DNC or the RNC? There's another party running out of options. I mean, maybe if she doesn't ever want to go back to the Republican Party, she could join the No Labels Party, which would essentially just be an opportunity to make some money on the way out of politics. Electorally, she is one of the most well-known Republicans. It seems by all accounts that this would be Donald Trump's last race. So at some point, there will need to be a non-Donald Trump Republican that is running the party. It's that reason that I would think, you get out of the race so you can be on the team that's pushing the ball forward if you're a Republican. But if she doesn't want to be a Republican or she wants to get out of the race, then wants to get out of politics, then fuck it. As long as Democrats and never Trumpers are putting money in her coffers, then let's spend it. Have you seen the Tucker Carlson and Lord of the Rings AI clip? No, I did see a guy doing a Tucker Carlson impression that was pretty good. He's like, I'm here in Mordor, here to interview Sauron. The mainstream media will tell you that he's a dark tyrant looking to bring darkness to the land. Or is he just a man who wants to sit by the fire and make jewelry? She's out of GOP politics until the Trump era passes. I don't think that that's how that works. And also, it depends on how you define the Trump era. Populism is here for the next 3 cycles at minimum in the Republican Party. The Democrats have become the professional, the professional class and the Wall Street defenders. The Republicans have become more populist, and that's not going to change. Yeah, I don't do a good Tucker. And it's hard. It's hard when I do a good Stossel. I think Ted Cruz makes another run in 28 or 32. No. Maybe he pulls like a Newt Gingrich and runs 3 cycles later than anybody kind of assumed he would. What's fascinating about the Trump thing is that, look, he's got that party by the nuts. You know, he came out and said, IVF yesterday, IVF today, IVF forever. And everybody in the Republican Party said how high, including people like Nancy Mace and Speaker Johnson, who had introduced the Life Begins at Conception Act, which had no IVF carve out. When is the journalism podcasting masterclass? I don't know. Definitely after the election. I think this year's going to be pretty busy. So I would not expect it in 2024. Can we talk about the dude who set himself on fire in front of the Israeli consulate live on Twitch? Yeah, we can. Where do you start with something like that? Let me walk you through my point of view on it, because I am made uneasy by it, and I am made uneasy by the conversation and discourse about it seemingly blowing right by a man trying to commit suicide on live stream and getting right to the like, okay, well, how does that affect my political priors? Like, the humanity of somebody being at such a breaking point mentally that they want to commit suicide and they want the world to watch it is disturbing to me. I have a hard time looking at it as a sacrifice and not somebody giving up hope that life is worth living. I don't blame anybody for looking at it as a political, for it purely in its political lens, but that part of it is where I am personally. Like, there's not a lot of things that I believe in politically that if somebody agreed with me and then shot themselves in the head, that I'd be like, yeah, they agreed with me. They agreed with me. I'd be like, holy shit, that dude just shot himself in the head. I can't imagine that life was going well for him. And so my frontline conversation about it is I am filled with tremendous empathy and sympathy for those around him, those that knew him, because that's a brutal way to kill yourself. And then through the political lens, Israel, Palestine, huh? People have a lot of opinions. They're really passionate about it. I mean, I don't know how much I needed to know more of that. I know that people are extraordinarily passionate about their positions on this subject. And, you know, a guy killed himself. I guess I don't have a ton of other. I don't find it to be a particularly cultural tipping point. Um, I don't know what this guy's job was inside of the Air Force. I would not expect that his job necessarily even had anything much to do with the conflict. That would be my guess, but I don't know. Um, he just seemed like a very like a man willing to kill himself. The cop pointing his gun at him while he was deep frying. What was that? You react perfectly when somebody fucking when somebody immolates themselves in front of you. I don't blame anybody in that situation. That is not, I don't know where in the handbook guy kills himself via flame. Uh, Pro-Palestine TikTok and other social media are flooding people with atrocity videos. I can see why people would kill themselves. I can't. I can't see why people would kill themselves. Look, uh, uh, take the most brutal definition of what is happening in Gaza right now. And it is something that happens in our world every day. Every day. There is a genocide every day somewhere, targeted on ethnic, racial, or religious grounds. The world is brutal and ugly. We live extraordinarily privileged lives to not have it be in our lives by and large of the people that are the 100 people that are watching me. I count myself very, very blessed to not have that in my life on an everyday basis, in terms of something that is affecting my friends and family. So the world is brutal, the world is ugly, and I hope that anybody watching or listening to it, while educating yourself on what is happening around the world, does not result in hopelessness. And if it does, what I would ask is that you take a step back from ingesting the awful things that can happen and try to process before taking more in. This is the exact same reason why therapists need therapists. Because even in the micro level of you just talking to somebody about their troubles, there's only so much that you can internalize, you can metabolize. You need to process it. Because if it is triggering a spiral of hopelessness, the likes of which that would make you want to kill yourself, well, I think that is taking education into a manner that is not helpful. There are people that love you. There is a society that needs you. And if you believe that your life personally is so hopeless that you want to end it, I desperately, desperately, desperately mean this. Please call a suicide hotline. I don't like to play around with this shit. I just don't. You know, the internet is the lonely people's economy, so we do have to deal with a lot of this. So I'm just gonna leave that there. If you are feeling that low, for the love of God, please know that people care about you and please call somebody. Okay. Let's get off of that. That's not very fun. Let's take calls, huh? We'll take calls. Let me. Hmm. think this is going to be the way it works. Thoughts on the dynasty? Which dynasty are we talking about? Am I familiar with what's going on with the mayor of Dalton, Illinois? Oh, the Pat stock. No, I prefer. I would prefer to watch every horrifying thing that's happening in the rest of the world than watch the Pat's documentary. I will read the news stories that come out about it. The faster that I can not think about the Patriots being good, the better for me. Okay. 510 404 8030. Again, that is 510 404. Oops. Mr. Merrill Barr, can you hear me? Yes. Yes, indeed, I can. What's going on, man? Uh-huh. Well, I practically would not re-record it because my computer died and I don't have the original files anymore. So don't worry. No, it's more just me being able to hear lack of confidence and me just looking to reach through time and reproduce myself. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. People cannot hear you. Ah, now I know. Hold on. Hold on. Hold. Speakers. Okay, Merrill, talk again.
Yes, I'm talking.
Okay, hopefully people can hear you.
I just heard an echo of myself, so I would imagine they probably can.
Good.
Can I
Yeah.
repeat the question?
Yes, repeat the question.
Okay. I was listening to the We're Not Wrong bonus episode, and you mentioned that you thought about re-recording Raise the Dead, to which I say I will punch you in the face if you do it, because it's perfect. You leave it be.
Yeah, look, if it were perfect, more people would have listened to it.
I think. Well, okay, hold on.
No, let me finish. Let me finish, and then you can add whatever you want. But I in general, I would not seriously do it. It's more that I can hear from this side of my career inexperience and me kind of filling out the gaps. Look, there's a reason why I always say you got to just do a lot, right? Because you don't know when you're building your career, when you're building anything, you don't know what you don't know. And so there were moments where in my delivery, re-listening to it, I'm like, no, that should have been buildy, and then come to a crescendo here where I felt that I was too often kind of hitting the gas verbally. But it is what it is. Practically, I will not be re-recording it because my computer died and I lost all the original files. So I cannot easily do it. There's that.
I mean, I know you argue that it's like it was better, more people would listen, but getting podcasts launched in a crowded field is hard. World's Greatest Con had the benefit of Brian Brushwood is always going to be a weird internet celebrity. So if he stars in a thing, people are more inclined to come to it, whereas you were coming from the ground up with nothing other than the Diamond Club community. Breaking out of that is always going to be harder. Like, I argue it's just a crowded field. Like, it has nothing to do with the quality of the product.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Like, are we gonna get season 3 with now that Trump's the nominee? Like, and we can do the Trump Nixon.
Well, we should actually let him be the nominee first. But yes, I would say that things are working out well for there to be a 1968 to 2024 season 3 of Raise the Dead. But I don't know if I'm going to get to it this year. I think the only reason why season 2 got done during the election was because of the lockdown and I was going fucking insane.
I mean, who wasn't?
Yeah. But yeah, no, I do probably need to start just doing my research for 68.
Yep. All right. Well, that's it. I'm going to keep it short today. Talk to you.
All right, man. Peace out. I always fuck up how to get the things right. By the way, we will be doing Great Night from here, from my house, because Brian is going to be on the road. Brian is on the road in Nashville. And so there will be no puppy produced Great Night, but we will be live streaming and we will be doing it from my studio, which I guess I'm realizing now I can just do right here through Restream. Remote Brian. Brian will be remote. What else? What else is going on? What else is popping? A YouTube Great Night would be much easier to watch. Yeah, I guess I could. I could enter our YouTube in there. I'm worried that Brian won't be remotely funny. Well, he'll be remote. He'll be remote out there in Nashville. I think he'll be. I think it's going to be good. Hopefully you guys, sorry there was no live show while we were at the border on Tuesday, but geez, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to meet the minimum viable requirements. Michigan primary tomorrow. No party registration. Just ask for whichever ballot you want. Should I bother going to my local polling place, voting for Nikki to just keep the race alive? It's up to you. I mean, we can take a look at what the polling is right now. Or I can vote for Dean or Marianne on the D side. Well, the push is uncommitted, right? That's where the ceasefire Democrats want to be. Yeesh. Oof. This is the Michigan Republican primary, according to Real Clear Politics. RCP average has Trump up 51. Hill Emerson has 76 to 24. High is Morning Consult with 79 to 19. Yeah, not so good, Al. Going back to July of last year, Donald Trump has not been below 61. No, 58. 58 was his lowest. And that was leading right into the final run of the Iowa caucus. So that was Haley up, but still with different people in the race. Since all those folks dropped out, Donald Trump up to a high of 79, low of 76. Haley solidifying 24% of the vote. A lot of discourse over the last few days on whether or not Donald Trump has been overpolled, whether or not, like I said on the show that I thought he was going to win by 27. He wins by 20. Not great for me. I was watching. Oh, by the way, we had a great meetup. I'm terrible with meetups. I'm so last minute with everything that like I never announce them with enough time, but we had a great crowd. We had just a solid group of people, and it really made me think, we had people that were in the military, we had people that had run for office, we had custodians, a school custodian, an arborist. We just had a great cross section. It really made me happy that everybody came out. We had some beers. We watched the results. It was a good time. Somehow losing your home state is now overperforming. Yeah, I don't know. Even Tom LoBianco, who I really, really liked. You guys are going to really dig him on you guys are going to really dig him on the show on Wednesday. He says in that interview, he's like, well, there's really not a whole lot of signs for Nikki Haley to drop out. And I'm like, yeah, except for getting your ass kicked in your home state where you were the governor. Like, electoral shame used to exist. Apparently, there's no electoral shame anymore. Dr. Whiskey, I saw that you called. You can go ahead and call back, and I will make sure that I take your call here. Haley's hoping for a Trump DQ. From where? From whom? Like, how? Who? How? How, Sway? Yeah, the Koch money left. Koch said that Americans for Prosperity Action said that, hey, we're rooting for you, Nick. We're rooting for you. Not going to be spending money on you, but we're rooting for you. SCOTUS? I mean, yeah, I'm surprised we haven't gotten the ruling on that yet. I am surprised about that. Yeah, I don't really get it. Although, there was a point made on the Ruthless podcast last week that, this is probably like a good thing for Trump. Because if the news is about winning, you do need somebody in the race for it to be about winning, then, not so bad. I don't think SCOTUS could rule that he can't be on the ballot, but they might say the Electoral College can't vote for him. Well, that's not what's up for at issue right now. The thing that is before the Supreme Court is the ruling in Colorado and Maine that says because he participated in an insurrection, he is not constitutionally allowed on the ballot. Legal scholars believe that this will not stand The only question is whether or not it's a 9-0 ruling by the Supreme Court, or if any of the liberal justices support the initial decisions. But that's what that is what's there now. And that's only for the prime. No. If it most recently affects the primary ballot, but if he were ruled that he was not available, then he would be off the general election ballot too. But it's basically them ruling on a lower court's ruling, running it up the chain. Donald Trump truthing the following. Crooked Joe Biden's border invasion is destroying our country and killing our citizens. The horrible murder of 22-year-old Laken Riley at the University of Georgia should have never happened. The monster who took her life illegally entered our country in 2022 and was released again by the radical Democrats in New York after injuring a child. When I'm your president, we will immediately seal the border, stop the invasion. And on day one, we will begin the largest deportation operations of illegal criminals in American history. May God bless Laken Riley and her family. Our prayers are with you. Look, the polling at the border shows that it is a bipartisan worry. Joe Biden would not be looking to reverse executive actions. And I don't know who, he probably won't reverse them. He wouldn't be looking to do any executive actions on the border if he was not worried that Democrats are worried. That's the issue right now for him. The issue right now for him is that his own side is worried. Independents are worried. And he wants this to be as clean of a decision as he can possibly hope for. Donald Trump is chaos. Donald Trump is incompetent. Donald Trump is a criminal. Donald Trump took away your women's health. He does not want anybody saying, ooh, wait, but was Donald Trump actually right about the border? Was Donald Trump actually right about the border? Shit. He does not want that. Was he an old school illegal immigrant or a paroled asylum seeker? We don't know. We don't know. The Trump rally was something else. Things that I did not fit into the episode on the Trump rally. Number one, dude in line, black dude in line with Wesley Snipes from Demolition Man, bleach blonde haircut, wearing a hat saying Joe and the Ho have gotta go. Thought that was pretty funny. Number two, this was in the episode, but that invocation that began the rally, which in general, invocations are usually very solemn. You know, pastor, preacher comes out, says, ladies and gentlemen, I will begin the invocation. Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, Donald Trump has done so great for us. We look to bounty and blah, blah, blah. Amen. Amen. But Pastor Mark Jacobs, is it Mark Jacobs? I forget his name. He was a live wire. We went to Black Church real quick. Real quick. You know that you are feeling the spirit when God has a W. God. You are feeling it. There is only one man who knows that Christ is king. We will never have Joe Biden as president again. Let me hear you say never, never. Were there a significant number of black people there? That area is like 50-50. I would not say it was 50-50. It was charitably 80-20. Mostly white people. If it's out of sync now, I have no idea. I have no idea. I can see if I can flash it. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. Good God. Yeah, I mean, there weren't, it wasn't it was a far, far, far mostly white crowd. Mostly, the kind of whites without a college degree, stereotype that one up. Don't do it on Gemini, though. Don't do it on Gemini. Don't say, give me a picture of whites without a college degree on Gemini. Whites without a college degree, pictures on Gemini would be Genghis Khan, Sammy Davis Jr., and a light-skinned Lizzo. Boy, they did not learn any lessons from the ChatGPT rollout. Like, ChatGPT looked responsible with the way that they handled the bot being too woke comparatively to Gemini. Gemini's like, anybody who is close to violating the orthodoxy of progressive voters. If you ask, like, who's been worst for the world, that person or Hitler? And it's like, well, let's lay out the case. Yeah, if you got a picture of a Trump rally crowd, it might be closer to what Trump wants it to be. For those of you that did not listen to the Patreon episode yesterday, I can only anecdotally say that I drank with 2 black people when I was in South Carolina. They were just at the bar. And we started talking. We started talking politics. And as soon as we started talking politics and Donald Trump's name came up, both of them did the exact same thing. I'm not trying to stereotype here and say that all black men in South Carolina would do this, but it was notable that it happened the exact same way. They both put both their hands up and said, I never had a problem with Trump. I don't know what that means. Take it for what you will. But it was notable that they both said the exact same thing. Now, I will say this. There are some people who believe that Donald Trump will get like 30% of the black vote. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here. Can Donald Trump get over into double digits? Yes, I think that is plausible. That would make sense. He was at 8% last time. Can he get to 10%? Can he get to 11%? Maybe. Maybe. But the Truckers for Trump boycott of New York. Now I gotta tell you, George, this is something that I'm not up on. Last week was when everything was happening. My only thing that I've heard about it is that it was on some level embarrassing. Here is the story. Okay, so I have no idea about this. Trump supporting truckers boycott loads to New York City. Some truck drivers who support President Donald Trump said they are refusing loads to New York City to protest the civil fraud judgment. In a video shared Friday by a truck driver known as Chicago Ray, the trucker said he had spoken to other truck drivers who also said they would refuse loads to the city. I'm on the radio talking to drivers for the last hour, 15 minutes. I've talked to at least 10 drivers. They're going to start refusing loads to New York City starting Monday. I'm not going to encourage you, but if New York City is going to have a judge's ruling like they're ruling, then I'm saying we stand with Trump. I'm one of the millions of truckers that stand with Trump. The call to boycott loads to New York City comes after Judge Arthur Erdogan's verdict on Friday, which ordered Trump to pay $355 million in damages. That's, probably over that after interest. Trump posted support for the boycott on several social media platforms. It's unclear how widespread the boycott will be. I vow that I will not make one delivery to New York. None. Who's with me? Truckers for Trump, said the disrespected trucker. Zay, the truck driver, also. God. It's like when we get to quoting the Twitter shit instead of I don't know, giving me one graph up here on how much truckers, what an economic impact of it would be, just to give me some sense of okay, well, how much does this matter? I don't know. Just get out of here. If the trucker boycott take hold, it would show up in FreightWave's Sonar platform. Sonar's outbound tender reject index would show a tightening of capacity for loads originating from New York, while the inbound tender reject index would show a tightening of capacity for loads hitting to New York. Sonar's track lane rate for Columbus and New York would also show an increase in the average price per mile to move a dry van. Those inbound and outbound indexes show nothing as of noon on Monday. Is that today? No, that was last Monday. So people are saying that it is working. I'm not sure if it really changes the calculus that much. The states with the highest concentration of black voters. I don't need hog truck drivers in New York City. Well, you do like shit that comes in on trucks. So I get the sense of it, but I agree with everybody's skepticism that I will believe it when I see it. A bunch of people on Twitter saying a thing does not mean shit. Yeah, it's a joke. It's not working at all. I mean, I don't know. I think that if some organization or something like that had announced a boycott, then maybe I would. There's a reason why, especially last week, it did not make it, onto my radar. That, and I don't know how much trucker stuff matters versus train stuff. Who knows? I do know. I mean, like a lot of shit gets from hither to yon because of trucks. It sounds like a temper tantrum. Well, yeah, it's Twitter. The fuck else do you think it is? Of course. Everyone wants to, yell on the message board. Yeah, what else? What else are you gonna do? What else are you gonna do? All right, gang. Sorry for the short stream today, but I gotta get going. We gotta rock and roll. I'm very excited to be back home. I'm excited for everybody, to get back to working for you. You, the good and honest listener of the Politics Enterprise. Till next time, friends. This is your old pal, Justin Robert Young. Oh, I don't do a sign off here. I just leave. Okay, well, I'm just going to leave. All right. That's just going to be it.